I didn't fill that thing out with red words, because it's so big like the woods. I need to explain to you what we're talking about, that when we get it, we get finished copying. To just make a long story short, organic chemistry, biochemistry, is the study of carbon-containing compounds common to life forms. It's a study of carbon-containing compounds which are common to living things. I want to look ahead if I got to you something. No, it's right there. Okay, I'm going to tell you something that's in that slide. I don't care what you look at, whether you take apart and you look at the chemicals in a plant like a pine tree, or a bacterium like Streptococcus, which gives you a sore throat. All of those things contain carbon. If they have anything, they have carbon. So carbon is what we build organic chemistry around. Now, carbon dioxide is a gas, but it's not called organic. Do you find carbon dioxide in your body? Yes. But is it part of your membrane, part of your cells?
No.
It's a gas just passing through, right? Matter of fact, you're trying to get rid of it. So just because you have carbon, don't make you organic. Now, carbon dioxide is not organic, but it has carbon. But if I take your cells apart, I want to find a lot of structures, and the whole backbone is based on a chain of carbons. Just because I can find CO2 in your lungs does not make that an organic compound. It's got to be found as part of the chemical structure of your cells. And it's not. It's not. Oxygen, of course, has no carbon, so surely it's not organic. But the thing about it is, biochemistry, I took chemistry in college to get my degree in biology. And when I took the first chemistry class, I liked it. I thought about making my major. I thought, I'm not majoring in chemistry. I like this stuff. It was numbers. I like numbers. I like analyzing stuff. You know by now I like analyzing things. I like working with, I like crunching numbers. And the first two classes I had in chemistry was the table, and well, I like that stuff. I like this stuff. And I planned to do biology, but in high school I made these in biology. And even though I like animals, I was kind of scared of going to this. If I made these in high school biology, I want to take college biology, I thought I might not get a major in it. So I kind of had my mind to do biology. But after I took that class in chemistry, I said, I'm going to do chemistry. I didn't declare it though. I was just thinking about it. And then I took that first class of organic chemistry. I am so glad I didn't major in chemistry. That's the hardest class I have ever taken. I made a low C, and I thanked him for it. I'm thinking, if I get out of here, I'm never coming back to this building. And the organic chemistry, you had the alkenes, alkynes, alkanes, you had this, that, and you had the rules like I before E except after, all these excepts. I'm going, I need some rules I can sink my teeth into. And every time I thought I had biochemistry figured out, they changed the game. And I'm going, oh God, I made a mistake in here. And I said, I can't, I don't know the president. It wasn't his fault, it was me. And he was going to try his best, and the whole class struggling. I'd ask a friend, and he goes, I ain't got a clue. We had a blind beat the blind. The professor wouldn't work with you. He would teach you, and you would ask him, he said, well, you got to do some research on your own. And my mind said, he didn't know the answer. I really just said, just tell me, I don't know the answer. But he said, you got to do it on your own. And I did, and I had all kinds of Bobby Tin rules, I forgot now. But I must be like a 71 or 2. I almost failed that class. And I said to myself, if I ever get out of here alive, I'm never going to, and I never did chemistry again. I tell you right here. I know so much. I told my wife, if I had known then what I know now, I would have made chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know, and now I know that professor, he would go from A to C, and from C to F. Well, what B? Give me the missing pieces. He didn't do it, and I had to figure it out myself. And I got to admit, though, now I learned a lot of stuff on my own. But he would be talking, and I began to record lectures like y'all do. And I would pay back the recording. He would say things that are not in my notes. I never heard him say them. So after I began to write, it began to make more sense. But I discovered that I thought I was listening, but I wasn't hearing.
Yeah.
I was just listening. And when I got that, I had a big old recorder, not a small one, that big old thing, put a cassette in. And I asked him what I do, and he said, yeah, just don't write no book. And when I did that, that's probably what kept me from failing that class. Because by then, I was so deep in the hole, I had to F average. I'm fighting for it and fighting for a C. And when I began recording lectures, my grades began, I'd make a C now, maybe a B, and a C, and maybe a B. But the B had come up. Never my A in the class at all. I like A's. But when that thing was all over and done with, I had pulled just enough to make that low C average. And I never looked back. I declared biology my major. And some of us thought I was crazy for doing that, but I like biology. I spent a few nights in the laboratory. Not hard. I had to be there every 2 hours. I had to get up and record something, then go back to bed. I had a cot there, and I sleep on a cot. So I let her get record something, just write something down and go back to bed. A lot of folks saw me in like Einstein fixing things, and no, it ain't like that at all. But it does require that you. I recall one day we were doing the fruit fly experiment, and we had made the fruit flies, and you easily put them to sleep. And you want to say, well, they had red-eyed flies and white-eyed flies, and we were trying to figure out which was dominant. And we had crossed them, and they became little maggots. And then the maggots, of course, would grow into flies, and then you would take your ether from sleep, and on that scope you saw upstairs, the dissecting scope, you put on that scope, and you do the fine paintbrush, and you count. I got 35 flies here. You separate them. Of the 35, I got 30 with red eyes and 5 with white eyes, and you had to hurry and put it back in for the well test. Well, I was in there one day, and I saw a girl running around the room chasing her flies. What had happened? She had taken the flies out, and her boyfriend called her on her telephone. And when she's talking to him, flies woke up on the microscope. And the professor told her. For her technique. And I would have failed her too. I mean, she had nothing, and she kind of said, and she said, how much? She said, you wouldn't share your data. I said, no, I would not. Like, she has my data. You don't get 2 datas like that same, do you? No. And I've been in trouble too, so I said, I'm sorry, I ain't mad at you, but no, you get my data because the professor is not stupid. You start seeing these numbers, the same numbers, and wait a minute now. And you couldn't work together. And I recall that she was crying, begging. I'll start over again. So you ain't got time to start over again. Just sign up and write another check. But that's one thing I learned, that you don't get distracted in biology. You keep your mind on what you're doing. And that phone call, I guess she married the guy. By the grief he caused her, unless maybe walked off from him. It wasn't his fault. She should have said, I can't talk now. Can't say that. All right. That first sentence is the wrong assumption, because the molecule called carbon dioxide, you may assume all you want. It's not organic. But in the beginning, we thought that. Then we learned more stuff. And we realized that, well, carbon is in a lot of them. Carbon's so cool. Every carbon atom can make 4 bonds. it can hook to 4 things. That's nice, because sodium hooks to 1 thing. Calcium, 2 things. Aluminum, 3 things. Anything in the carbon family has 4 bonds. Then you move back down to nitrogen, hooks to 3 things. And oxygen only hooks to 2 things. And of course you've got the fluorine family hooks to 1 thing. And the last family over there, they hook to nothing. That's those noble gases. So carbon, he's got 4 arms. He can hold a lot of stuff. That's why carbon is in the center of many organic molecules, because he's holding the thing together. So he's got 4 arms reach out. And I learned in that class, organic compounds, they are complex, baby. Now you look at carbon dioxide, got 3 atoms. You look at like sucrose, you got 30 something. It's terrible.
You're taking that class now, right?
Now,
Chemistry too.
remember right now, I said
Is it
that.
hard?
Oh, thank you, man. I don't know. Okay, we're stopping at number 2 because we got almost out of time.